On Clout 941 with County Judge candidate Tracy Lee. And before I get to sort of the issue questions, I should talk a little bit about Canon 7 first of all. What Canon 7 says is that people running for judge have different rules to follow than candidates running for other political offices. There's certain things that they are allowed to say and certain things that they're not allowed to say, and a candidate before he files to run has to make himself familiar with Canon 7. Basically what it means is, number one, the judicial candidates are nonpartisan. They don't run as Republicans or Democrats. And number two, they're not allowed to take sort of positions on political issues like abortion or taxes, or say they're going to be tough on a certain issue. I'm going to get tough on DUIs or something like that. They're just not allowed to do that when they campaign. And so normally, the people in the audience may want to know why I'm not asking questions like that. I can't, and Tracy can't answer questions like that. So, but we can get into some issues that pertain to the judicial system, and that's what we're going to do. Tracy, first I want to ask you about the person you would be succeeding. Judge Legalbo, Emmanuel Legalbo, has had the spot for 25 years. Been around a long time. You've practiced in front of him, and he's retiring, so this is going to be an open seat. And I've heard a lot of people talk about running, but you're the first person that's actually filed. What do you think about Judge Legalbo? What's your opinion of him?
Judge Legalbo is a man that's going to be very, very missed in the judicial system in Sarasota. He has a temperament that puts everybody at ease, and he's always fair. I can't tell you how many times I've been in front of the man, because it's been many. There's not a job in the world that I would rather have than being a county court judge. If there was some wish list or some lottery you could win, this is what I would like to do. But I admire Judge Legalbo so much that if he decided he was going to change his mind and stay on the bench, I would take my name out of the hat. He's that good of a man. He's honest, he's caring, and he's been a real pleasure to be in front of.
So you don't have any other higher political aspirations? You view yourself retiring as a county judge, or is there something else that you would want to do after that?
It's funny that this is a political position, because I don't think of myself as a political candidate. There are people that want to take stepping stones to get other places. The reason I want to be a county court judge is, in my opinion, it's where I can serve my community, my family, my friends the best. County court judge is a place where it's the lower level crimes, misdemeanors, cases less than $15,000, ordinance violations and things like that. It's a thing that someone like you or your neighbor is most likely to come into contact with. It's the opportunity to be with people and actually rule on things that are important to just people in regular day lives. Most people won't be involved with a felony or a case worth $1 million, but it would not be unusual for 10 of your friends have been in county court. That's where I want to be. I want to be in the trenches where the action is. I don't really have any aspirations to become a circuit court judge, although I admire the people that do it. It's not the best fit for me. I certainly don't have any aspirations to be an appellate court judge. So what I would like to do, best thing in the world for me, is to be a county court judge.
I guess that's sort of like among judges, a county court judge would be like a frontline infantryman versus being like a general or something. That's more what you want to do in the legal system, is be in the trenches on the front lines.
It's the first line of action. It's a case where you can expect to see a lot of trials. One, because the ramifications of a trial aren't as great as, say, in felony court. So you're going to find people more willing to take a chance on a trial in a misdemeanor. And quite frankly, I want to be involved in that type of thing.
Is there somebody locally in the community that you sort of look up to and admire locally, that's either a mentor to you or just somebody that you admire?
I've spent a lot of time with Tom Knight recently, our Sarasota sheriff. He's a really neat man. I'm on his advisory committee, and he's put together, or advisory board rather, he's put together a really good board of really thoughtful people, and the way he's running the sheriff's office right now, I admire it. But as far as someone that's made an impact on my life, other than my parents, Ron Jones is Sarasota High School's wrestling coach. Last year he was inducted into the Wrestling Hall of Fame, and I went up there with probably 30 guys that wrestled with Sarasota High School, and he got a standing ovation from a group of over 300 people at this induction. And when that many people stand up and cheer for you, you know you're around someone that's really, really made a difference in lives. He's the kind of guy that if he took any one of his wrestlers and said, I need a favor, every one of them, thousands of guys, would go, what do you need and when? And I'm just blessed to have been around a person like that.
Yeah, there's been a lot of talk with the budget cuts about cutting high school sports and stuff like that. I always felt that like I learned as much about life and leadership and things like that on the athletic fields than I did in the classroom, and sports were as important to me as the academics. What do you think about that? We're getting off track of running for judge, but
Well,
you brought
it's
it up.
not so much getting off track, because these are important things in life. They make you who you are, they help form your decisions, and they help make the basis for everything that you do. I played football and I wrestled. They're both team sports. They're both where you have to rely on other people to do their job, like a judge would have to rely on his clerks, his bailiffs, things like that. So you learn how to work as a team. Also, you learn dedication. You don't want your judge showing up 45 minutes late for court. You can't do that in a football game. You're all supposed to be there at the same time. You all work together. And the amount of time that you have to put in to do those sports lets you know that if you're going to work for something, do it well, be the best that you can be, and be prepared to do it. You certainly wouldn't want to show up for a game having never practiced. You certainly wouldn't want to get on a wrestling mat not knowing what you're doing. It's the quickest way to lose. Same thing with a judge. I didn't just pick this job one day and say I wanted to do it. Back before I graduated law school, I started down this path. I have literally practiced in every single law possible for Sarasota or County Court judge. There's not an area that I haven't practiced in. There's not an area I haven't had a trial in. I wanted to be more than qualified when I did this. I made a point of, this is what I want to do, this is what I'm going to be, and this is how I need to get there.
Some people, when they, you see them when they run for judge, and they're primarily either like a criminal lawyer, or they have a background as a career prosecutor, or a career defense attorney, or they've spent their entire career doing civil but not criminal. You just touched on something, that the fact that what the county judge handles, traffic, criminal, small claims, civil. You've practiced law in every single area that a county judge presides over?
Not only have I practiced in it, I've tried cases in it. You might have a small claims case, and a lot of those cases settle. I've handled hundreds of them, but many times you'll have to actually have a trial. So go in and try the case. A judge is not a person that should be able to learn on the bench. They need to know what they're doing. Real life things are happening, and many times it's the most important thing in that person's life. And if you're up there and don't have a real good grasp of what the laws are and you're learning, you're not going to be able to do a very good job. Yeah. The other thing is, if you've only worked in one area, say a prosecutor, you're going to be more inclined to find in favor of the state or be very harsh on sentencing. Now, there are certainly times when you're going to need to be harsh, and for the most part, police do a fantastic job. But you also need to be able to be fair. And if you've only done one thing, I would find it difficult to believe that you could really be fair. That's why I've wanted to do defense work, plaintiff's work, prosecute, do criminal defense work. Every single area that you can have a job and prepare yourself for this, I've done it.
Yeah, I know. I've both been a federal and state prosecutor and defense attorney, and I can honestly say that my perspective, having done both, is completely different than it would have been had I only been on one side, so I couldn't agree with you more. All right, we'll take our last break, and when we come back, we'll have our final segment with County Judge candidate Tracy Lee.